Do you ever get stuck in a cycle of negative thinking? Or notice how negative your thoughts can get when you feel depressed? One of the basic ideas behind cognitive behavioral therapy is that what we think shapes how we feel. And if we change the way we're thinking, we'll change the way we're feeling. When we're down or depressed, we tend to have negative thoughts about ourselves, about the world and other people, and about the future. And they're often related to feeling worthless, unlovable, or helpless, like, I can't do anything right. Nobody cares about me. I'm a burden to everyone. I can't handle my responsibilities. Nothing I do helps me feel better. Or our negative thoughts might be focused on the world being hostile, unfriendly, or rejecting. Life's not fair. Everyone always lets me down. They can be pessimistic and hopeless thoughts about the future. Things will never get better. I'll always feel this sad and alone. Do you ever find yourself having thoughts like this? They're called cognitive distortions. Exaggerated and negatively biased patterns of thinking that distort reality and make us feel bad. And if we're already feeling down or depressed, they make us feel worse. Changing this type of thinking helps us feel better, but how do we do it? Telling ourselves, I love myself, or life's great, won't help if it doesn't feel true. Trying to force positive thoughts we can't really accept can make us feel worse. The key is to replace negative thoughts with thoughts that are more accurate and less negatively biased that we can actually believe. So we start by looking at our negative thought to see how accurate it really is. A lot of our negative thoughts feel true when we're depressed, but we don't want to just take our depression's word for it. We want to see if the thought actually fits the facts of the situation, or if it's being distorted by our negative core beliefs or our mood. A good way to do this is to ask ourselves a series of questions that help us see things from a different perspective. Things like, what's the evidence for and against this thought? Are there any facts I'm ignoring or overlooking? Have I had experiences that show that this thought isn't true all the time? Am I using extreme words like should, always, never, must, or can't? Am I focusing only on the negative aspects of the situation? Am I blaming myself for things that aren't fully my fault or responsibility? Are there any other possible explanations or ways to view this? If someone I cared about had this thought, what would I tell them? And if they knew I was thinking this, what might they say to me? What could I tell myself that could help me feel better? When I'm not feeling this way, how do I usually think about this? And you can download a copy of these questions from the link in the description, and let's go through some examples now. So we start by writing down our negative thought, or what's going through our minds. And if we're having a bunch of negative thoughts, we can write them all down and choose the one that's affecting our mood the most. I'm a failure. What's the evidence for and against this thought? I've been making mistakes on some projects, and I didn't get this done on time. And it's not just at work. I've been messing up a lot of things. But I have gotten good feedback before, and I usually finish things up on time, and I'm able to do a lot of things okay. Am I focusing only on the negative aspects of the situation? I'm only looking at the times I didn't succeed, and ignoring the times I did well. If someone I cared about had this thought, what would I tell them? I'd remind them of things they've done right, and I'd probably be way kinder to them than I'm being to myself right now. And then based on the questions we've just asked ourselves, we come up with a modified thought, a way of looking at things that's less negative, more accurate, and something we can actually believe. I've made mistakes, but I've also done many things well. Just because I failed at some things doesn't make me a failure as a person. And remember, the key is that these new thoughts need to be believable to us, and the modified thoughts I'm coming up with might not make sense to you. And the challenge with this type of work is coming up with alternative thoughts that feel realistic and that we can actually believe. So maybe it's something like, I feel like a failure, but I haven't failed at everything. Or I see myself as a failure, but there are areas where I've done okay. So another example, nobody really cares about me. What's the evidence for and against this thought? I often feel lonely and alone, and people don't reach out to me as much as I'd like. But I don't reach out to them either, and there are some people who've shown that they care. Have I had experiences that show that this thought isn't true all the time? I've had friends check in with me when they've known how I've been feeling. And friends sometimes invite me to do things with them, just not enough. Am I focusing only on the negative aspects of the situation? I'm focused on the times when I felt ignored and alone, and ignoring the times when people have been there for me. And so our modified thought could be something like, even though I feel alone and neglected, some people do care about me, even if it doesn't always seem that way. Or maybe we're thinking, I'll never succeed or do anything meaningful with my life. What's the evidence for and against this thought? I don't know what I want to do with my life, and many things haven't gone the way I hoped. But I have achieved some goals and made some progress, and I felt okay with my life at times. Am I using extreme words like always, never, or must? Saying I'll never succeed makes this thought absolute, like nothing could ever work out. But I've had successes before, and I can't predict the future with certainty. Am I focusing only on the negative aspects of the situation? I'm only remembering setbacks and disappointment, and ignoring the times I've done well or felt okay about my life. And so maybe we come up with a modified thought like, my life isn't what I want right now, but I can build on some things I've accomplished, and I can focus on steps I can take to improve the present, rather than worrying about how things might end up in the future. In the final example, this isn't helping at all. Nothing I do makes me feel better. I'm always going to feel like this. What's the evidence for and against? Right now, it feels like nothing works, and nothing I've tried has helped. But sometimes listening to music, going for a walk, or talking to someone does help me feel a little better. Have I had experiences that show that this thought isn't true all the time? I often feel better after accomplishing something, spending time with a friend, exercising, and so on. When I'm not feeling this way, how do I usually think about this? I know that certain things can help when I'm able to get myself to do them, that any small steps usually help me feel a little better, and that it can seem like I feel this way all the time, but I realize my mood changes throughout the day, and I don't always feel this bad. And so our modified thought might be something like, depression is really hard, and it's easy to feel helpless and hopeless. But there are things that help a little, and trying something small is better than doing nothing or giving up. So our negative thoughts can have a big impact on our moods and how we feel. So we want to pay attention for them. And then when we notice we're having one, we don't let it go unchallenged. We ask ourselves some of these questions to help us see things from a more accurate and less negatively biased perspective, which can improve our mood and help us feel better and less depressed. And for more on how to manage depression, please check out my free self-help course at selfhelpdunes.com. And please help me out by liking and subscribing and letting me know what you think in the comments. And if you'd like to support my channel and help me make more videos like this, I really appreciate it, and please check out the donation links in the description.